Football. Football is a game that attracts a huge number of fans, and that's why here in Kenya we get that games such as Gor Mahia versus FC Leopards have large number of crowds that attend to watch these matches. How has this game excelled in Kenya? Today, I'm excited to meet my sports analyst, Dr. Evans Ackamer. Karibu sana daktari.
Thank you so much.
This is the Adam Squared Show.
Okay.
Tunakukaribisha.
Thank you very much.
So we want to talk about football here in Kenya, and let's get the origin of football. How did football come to be here in Kenya until now we play?
Yes, thank you, Adams, for this opportunity. As you have introduced me, now the people know that I am a sports analyst and that I am full with facts and knowledge about the Kenyan Premier League. So let me share that with you. The Kenyan Premier League began in 1963. This was after football was being played, but it was being played in a disorganized manner. So they saw that it was fit that they arrange a way in which there will be a perfect system to play football and to grow upcoming talent. You see, so KPL, as we know it today, began in 1963 with a few teams here and there before it will eventually grow. Sorry about that. Before it will eventually grow into 18 teams that are being played today. Yes.
So there are 18 teams in the Kenyan Premier League currently.
Yes, there are 18 teams in the Kenyan Premier League.
Apart from the Kenyan Premier League, do we have another league that is played here in Kenya?
Yes, there is the National Super League, which is usually the second tier to the Kenyan Premier League. Now, the National Super League is like a system, just as in England, we have the Premier League and the Championship League, where if you finish in the top 3 slots, you get an opportunity to play in the top leagues. That is the Kenyan Premier League, and so is the case with the Kenyan Premier League.
And these two leagues that you have mentioned, the KPL, Kenyan Premier League, and the National Super League, do they have a body that governs them or oversee what they do?
Yes. There's the Football Kenya Federation, the FKF, which is the overseer of basically all football programs in Kenya. Yes.
So what does FKF generally do?
The FKF, it regulates the teams, it regulates the amount of finances that they're allowed to spend. Even in the Kenyan Premier League, we have the financial fair play, which is usually looked into by the FKF. And they look at the standard of the stadiums, they look at how the fans go and cheer about their teams, you see. So basically, also the national team, they also interject there and they also make sure that it flows smoothly, you see, appointing the coaches, making sure that the required talent is brought up to the national team from the Kenyan Premier League. You see, so it does a lot of footballing duties in Kenya.
We'll be going for a short break after the commercial.
Bro, tumeshinda.
So talking about the Kenyan Premier League, what are the dominant teams we have in this league? We know that the likes of Gor Mahia are names that have been there since. Do they still dominate the Kenyan football up to now?
Yes, you see, Gor Mahia has been one of the top teams together with AFC since the inception of the Kenyan Premier League. So Gor Mahia has 19 titles, AFC Leopards has 12 titles. But you see, in recent years, for the last 8 years, 7 years or so, there is another team that has come up and has proven that it's a big wig.
And which one is that?
And that's the Tusker FC. And Tusker FC, since AFC last won the Premier League, they have won it 6 times. You see, so that ascertains their dominance in the Kenyan Premier League. Yes.
Do we have other teams that have come from the National Super League and have dominated the Kenyan Premier League?
Yes. You see, recently there have also been shouts from teams like Madara United. There have been shouts from Vihiga United, Kakamega Homeboys. I think you've heard about them, and also Wazito FC. Teams like Wazito FC are more of the embodiment of how we want football to grow in Kenya. You see, they got an owner who really loves football and really invested in the club. So you can see that the club, where it is right now, it's not something that is a fluke or something that happened overnight. We would like a lot of teams to emulate Wazito FC in that they get owners who are well financially and who care about Kenyan football, growing Kenyan football. You see, Wazito FC, their stadium is well furbished, their timbers is exquisite. You can just Google pictures of it and you can see how the trajectory of how we want football to be done in Kenya.
Okay, does that show that we have some growth in the Kenyan football ever since?
Yes, there is some growth, however, negligible. You see, as I look at the state of the stadiums in the Kenyan Premier League, can you imagine that only two stadiums have more than 60,000 capacity,
Which are
which are Tusker and Mathare? Only two stadiums in the whole of Kenya. And the only other stadium that is above 15,000 is AFC Leopards Stadium. Can you imagine the state of football in Kenya? It's really saddening to hear that only three clubs have above 15,000 capacity in Kenya. Yeah.
so the infrastructure of the clubs, are they something that are overlooked by the government, the club itself, or there's a body also such as FKF that looks at building the stadium and infrastructure of clubs?
You see, matters dealing with infrastructure, they usually governed by the club itself. The club gives the directive so that the stadium capacity can be increased and such stuff. But also regulating issues from the FKF. You see, football now has degenerated in that it seems like nobody cares about it anymore in Kenya. Yet there are a lot of young talent who are still growing up and who still want to play in the big teams like Gor Mahia, Tusker, FC Leopards, and the likes of Madari. So I think when the FKF improves their scouting and they make these owners of the clubs, the problem about ownership in football, even in not only in Kenya, even in England and in other countries, the owners are looking to enrich themselves more than building the club. You see, and when it comes down to this, it becomes tricky for the club to invest in things like stadium merchandise and such stuff. That's why you find even the EPL merchandise is more in Kenya than it is in than the KPL merchandise is in Kenya, in our own country. You see, we do not promote our own football, and that begins from the governing body itself, from the top of the governing body. They do not care about football; they care about enriching themselves. Just a few months ago, we saw the president of the FKF being thrown out and on allegations of corruptions. You see, corruption cases. So I think it's a problem that begins not only from the owners of the clubs, but also from the governing body itself.
Sasa, thank you sana Dr. Evans Ackamer.
It's a pleasure.
And we are happy to host you here in the Adam Square Show. So until we meet in our next episode, goodbye.